Welcome to the Cover One matchup show. It's week 3, and the Bills are coming off a big win down in Miami, putting them with back-to-back divisional wins here as they get ready to face the red-hot LA Rams, who are also 2-0 and are traveling to Buffalo this week. Sean McVay and Jared Goff have got this offense firing again. Our team is going to take a look at that offense, what the Bills can do to try to slow it down a little bit, and they're also going to take a look at the defense with some studs on that side. Obviously, you know the names, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. We're going to take a deep dive into that and get you ready for the game on Sunday with some of the big things to keep an eye on. Take it away, guys.
Sean McVay is widely regarded as one of the most creative play designers and play callers in the league. His Rams offense has talent, but it's McVay's X's and O's and knowledge of defensive coverages that helps him maximize his quarterback Jared Goff's talent.
He was able to study for these couple of weeks. Yeah. That's really good. You got a lot of good stuff.
Appreciate you saying that. Feelings are mutual.
Their primary mode of attack is a play-action game, but it's the action of the run, not necessarily the success of the run, that leads to their success on these plays. Goff isn't a quarterback that has a type of arm that will allow McVay to stretch a field all that often. Goff has only attempted 6.9% of his passes over 20 yards this season, and that is even below what he threw last year. That percentage is near the bottom of the league, putting him in 28th among QBs with 20% of the snaps. He's thrown one touchdown pass over 20 yards this season, which matches his touchdown output on deep passes all of last season. Where Goff thrives is through the use of play action, something he leads the league in, running play action 48.4% of his passing plays. The Rams offense has added other forms of play action aside from their normal outside zone looks, making them even more difficult to defend. But the crux of their philosophy is to create layered route combinations, especially 3-level passing concepts. Route combinations off of play action that stretch the defense horizontally and vertically. On this play, the Rams pull their right guard to influence the Eagles' linebackers, something the Bills will see given the injury at the linebacker position. After the play fake, Goff rolls out, and then it's a simple, half-field, 3-level concept. Goff has a deep route meant to threaten vertically, but mainly clear things out for teammates. He then has an intermediate and short route to choose from. The pulling action by the guard forces the linebackers to defend the run first, then go into recovery mode. They are so out of position that they are in scramble mode to get back to their normal landmarks in this zone coverage. And as you can see, their spacing is off, and the crack in the zone is exploited as Goff hits the receiver in the short area. Their route combinations off of play action puts an enormous amount of stress on the leverage defenders are expecting when in man coverage, but also the spacing of zone coverage. This is why not having Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano could spell doom for the Bills' pass defense. On the last play, you saw second-level defenders get sucked into the line of scrimmage looking to defend the run, leaving a gaping hole underneath, and the corner got zero help. Here, the Bucs protect deep, essentially using 4 guys to defend one route. This leaves a massive void between the second and third level defenders for Robert Woods to expose. All of these concepts are simple. They're just presented differently, and Goff is incredibly efficient at processing how the defense is looking to stop it. If the linebackers stay home and take away the short route, unlike the Eagles did earlier, Goff is able to move on to the next level and hit the sail route in the intermediate area of the field. Just when defenses think they have the 3-level routes covered with fast flow by the defense, McVay throws a curveball in there by leaking a tight end or wide receiver out into the middle of the field, the area just vacated by the linebackers. Look at how the Eagles adjusted from the play earlier. The deep route is taken away, the short route is eliminated by the flats defender, and even the safety slices this time to take away the crossing route. But now, the middle of the field is wide open for Cooper Kupp. The Bills' defense has a tough matchup this week, even if Edmonds and Milano were going to play. Either way, the defense has to maintain their eye discipline when reading run to pass, and maintain their spacing when dropping to their zone landmarks. The front 4 has to do their part and flash in Goff's line of sight on these plays in order to get into his head. When Goff is under pressure, he struggles to complete passes. His 31.3% completion percentage when under pressure is ranked 31st in the NFL. As is often the case, it will take all 11 defenders to defend the Boy Genius's offense.
All right. Next, after seeing what the Dolphins did with an injury-depleted linebacking core for the Bills, they took advantage of the screen game a little bit. Could the Rams do the same thing? What backs might they use, and how would they go about it? Let's see what Sterling Furrow has to say about it.
and Week 3's matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, this would be the toughest offense the Bills have seen this year. Sean McVay and these Rams use a West Coast offensive scheme, which means they're not going to throw the ball deep as much. This is an offense based on rhythm and timing. McVay likes to use a lot of screen passes. In 2019, the Rams ranked 4th in the league in screen pass attempts. So far in 2020, in only 2 games, they're already ranked 10th. With the Rams, you're going to see a lot of play action pass and screen passes. You're going to see the Rams come out in a single back Y off trio. You're going to notice Robert Woods come in the backfield. Jared Goff is going to hit him with this screen pass. As you can see, his linemen do a really good job of freeing up the runner, and Robert Woods gets a 31-yard gain. On this next play, notice how the Dallas Cowboys come out in the nickel formation. We know the Buffalo Bills use nickel more than 70% of the time. That's why it's important that we have Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds back for this game, because their speed, range, and on-ball ability will be on full display. Last year, the Bills was one of the worst tackling teams in the league, and they've gotten a little bit better so far this year, so they're going to have to finish tackles. But one of the things that makes this Rams offense so lethal is that they use a lot of play action and misdirection. So in this play, you're going to see Cooper Kupp go in motion behind the line of scrimmage. But Jared Goff does a great thing as he sells the play action pass and he hits Malcolm Brown for an 18-yard gain. The offensive line does a really good job of paving the way for the running back. If the Buffalo Bills want to win this game Sunday, they're going to have to tackle and finish very well, because this Rams offense, they do a really good job of getting the ball in their playmakers' hands. They're not going to wow you with athleticism. They don't have any speed burners or guys that are going to take the top off the defense, but what they do have, they have guys with short area quickness and the ability to make plays once the ball is in their hands. I really do think if Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds are back for this game, the Buffalo Bills have a great shot to get this W.
Well, this past week, the Bills had trouble with Mike Gesicki, and for any Bills fans who aren't prepared for it, this next run is now going to be Tyler Higbee, Darren Waller, Jonnu Smith, and Travis Kelce. So it's not stopping anytime soon. With Tyler Higbee, I wasn't sure last year was that last 5 games just because Kupp was out and he got all the volume that he did, or was he really ready to step into this role? And he's been impressive again in these first couple games.
They still are opening up with 11 personnel as their main offensive package, but Tyler Higbee is really thriving so far. 3 touchdowns last week on 5 touches. And you know what, guys? I'm going to put the tinfoil hat on here for a minute, because Sean McVay knows very well what's going on with the health of those 2 linebackers over on the Buffalo defense, who are so fantastic against tight ends. So I'm got a little bit of a theory going, where I feel like Sean McVay knew exactly what he was doing in putting that much tape of Tyler Higbee out onto the field, knowing that there was such limited no preseason tape and such limited regular season tape so far, sending a little bit of a flare up to show Sean McDermott exactly what they're capable of with the tight end. Now, if you try to play in tight to adjust to a tight end in that way, what's Sean McVay going to do? Play 4 wide receiver sets. So I feel like this is a little bit of a chess match. The chess match, I think, with Sean McDermott, who he just respects the hell out of, I think started last week.
All right, next we're going to take a look at some work by Sosa Kremenjas, who took a look at the Rams secondary. Obviously, everybody knows Jalen Ramsey, but where are they going to deploy him? Who are the other cornerbacks? And where did their safety play come into the works with this Bills offense and the weapons that they've deployed so far? Let's take a look at the film.
The Los Angeles Rams' secondary is a lot of why the defense is performing well right now. In terms of their coverage, they like to run 3-seam coverage the majority of the time, running at 21%. The next highest deployed coverage schemes are quarters at 20.3%, cover 6 at 19.6%, cover 1 at 18.1%, and cover 3 at 15.9%. They like to run a lot of zone coverage, and they're not very dependent on man coverage. Oftentimes in these clips, you're going to see the cornerbacks like to play their specific side. They have Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams on the boundaries and Troy Hill at the nickel spot. Typically, they like to shade a safety when in single high to the side of Darius Williams and or Troy Hill, which means they're obviously working away from Ramsey and essentially letting him work his side one-on-one for the most part. Oftentimes, you're going to see them lined up in press coverage pre-snap, though they do deploy bail techniques quite often, as the Rams appear to be happy to allow underneath completions, and they put an emphasis on stopping the deep pass and keeping everything in front. Going into immediate bail technique allows these cornerbacks to open their hips and begin running deep, covering the biggest threat in terms of vertical usage and keeping everything in front of them. On this rep here, the Philadelphia Eagles are lined up in a 2x2 formation in the shotgun with the halfback to Carson Wentz's left. The Rams appear to be lined up man-on-man in a 2-high safety structure, though at the snap they rotate into a variation of cover 6. Beginning at the top of your screen, cornerback Darius Williams sinks into his quarters coverage, with Taylor Rapp, who is lined up just inside of him, taking responsibility for the flat in Williams' vacated area. Jordan Fuller, the safety towards the middle of the screen, also sinks into his deep quarter zone, with John Johnson, who is lined up towards the bottom of the screen, sinking into his deep half zone area. Middle linebacker Micah Kaiser remains in the middle of the field and is responsible for playing the middle hook to wall off any inside breaking concept. Troy Hill, the nickel cornerback to the bottom of the screen, and Jalen Ramsey, the boundary cornerback at the bottom, both immediately begin sinking and gaining depth in their zones, disregarding the flat responsibility as the Rams were leading heavily in the game, and this was late in the fourth quarter. Pressure from edge rusher Leonard Floyd and interior rusher Morgan Fox forced Carson Wentz off his spot, giving him no choice but to try and maneuver in the pocket to reset his feet and fire from a different launch point. Ultimately, Wentz did not receive the look that he thought he had, as his progression only took him to the left side of the field. When Wentz realized he didn't have the look that he wanted, he started to progress his eyes towards the right side of the field and tried to attempt a pass to his checkdown option. Wentz's progression consistently stayed on the left side of the field, only to attempt an errant cross-body throw to his checkdown option in Miles Sanders. The pass was ill-informed, and the lack of a proper base and technique caused Wentz to overthrow the pass and get intercepted by Hill, who broke on the checkdown when Wentz started his throwing motion.
The Bills' offensive line is in for a tough test this weekend as one of the most dominant players in the entire NFL. Aaron Donald is coming to town. Our national scout Russell Brown is going to take a look at some of his production and stats that he's been able to put up here in the first 2 weeks of the season and get you ready for what to expect from, again, one of the most dominant and most fascinating players to watch here in the league.
On Sunday, the Bills have their toughest task of the season, and that's finding a way to stop and or contain Aaron Donald from the Los Angeles Rams. Aaron Donald in 2019 had 80 quarterback pressures as well as 13 quarterback hits and 53 hurries. This gave him a win rate percentage in pressure rates at 21.7%. It's been no secret of how good Aaron Donald truly is. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be tough work for the Bills' offensive line. You're going to see a lot of combo blocks between the guards and centers, even between the guards and tackles, because Aaron Donald is not your true defensive tackle. He is so versatile, he can play anywhere and everything on the defensive line, from playing in a 2-eye to a nose tackle, outside as a 5 technique. Really does not matter where he's aligned. He is going to find ways to disrupt the offensive line and get to the backfield. Not only is he versatile, he is also disruptive due to the fact that he's always playing faster than everybody else because he's so explosive. He's got quick hands. He's got great pad level. He plays in so many different spots that he can bring a variety of moves to every single type of offensive lineman, no matter the skill set, no matter how strong, no matter how fast an offensive lineman is. So Aaron Donald is a player that's a once-in-a-generation type of player. It's been no secret there. So regardless of what some analytics might want to point out and what some people might say he's a little bit too deep in the backfield or that he's just flying upfield way too fast and not really doing his job, that's all false. He is a great player. He is going to win 99% of the time he's on the field, it seems like. And, well, the pressure rate showed 21.7% for his pressure rate. It is going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be a tough one for the Bills, but I think Aaron Donald, if limited, it gives the Bills a really good shot to win on Sunday against the Rams.
Thanks for checking out the Cover 1 matchup show. Now that you've seen some of the plays and areas that Eric, Sosa, Russ, and Sterling broke down, try to watch for them this weekend during the game. Are you able to pick up the areas that the Rams or the Bills tried to take advantage of? And can you be a little bit smarter of a fan and impress your friends? All right. Thanks for checking us out. You've been listening to Cover One, and we are out.